Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Nate here. And you all know the drill, it's been 28 episodes. The fact of the matter is that Skyrim is a pretty large game, and Bethesda did everything they could to fill it with tons of Easter eggs, clever jokes, and references to reward patient and curious players. There's so much of this content that half a decade and thousands of hours later, even some of Skyrim's most dedicated players have yet to uncover all of it. So today, we're going to continue our crusade to solve such a problem. Sit back and relax as we take a look at yet another 10 tiny details you may still have missed in The Elder Scrolls V. Part 28. Starting off, Mzulft is a large ancient dwarven ruin in Eastmarch. The player will likely become quite familiar with this location during the College of Winterhold questline, as you're sent here to uncover the Staff of Magnus, a pretty significant item. However, there's something you may notice about Mzulft that's rather odd. As you explore its ruins, you'll find the remains of various already defeated dwarven spiders and machines. Someone, or something, has clearly already been here, and it definitely wasn't the Falmer. Well, in the book, Herebane's Bestiary Automatons, the author, a man named Herebane, describes venturing into the ancient city of Mzulft, and confronting and defeating a variety of Dwemer mechanizations in battle. It must have been him. Herebane was the man responsible for all the ruined dwarven machines you find just lying around. Now, unfortunately, he didn't defeat all of them. He left some for you. Next on our list, the Dragonborn can catch all sorts of bugs and insects in order to instantly harvest all sorts of alchemical ingredients that can later be used in a plethora of potions. Catch a torch bug and it'll immediately harvest into a torch bug thorax in your inventory. Catch a dragonfly, and you'll harvest a colored dartwing. Well, should you shout at these insects, it'll obviously kill them, but after which, when you go to loot or pick up their corpses, they'll already be harvested for you. Now, obviously, this has absolutely no benefit to the player, seeing as they're harvested automatically anyways, but I guess you can also play with their corpses if that's your thing. Regardless, that's why we call this series Tiny Details. For third spot, the Forsworn are a violent organization of Reachmen, who are bent on conquering the Reach, and pretty much murdering everyone in it to death. Suffice it to say, they're not very nice people, and in the game, they're essentially just a really brutal version of the bandits we all know and love. They can mostly be found held up in their campsites, or ancient ruined forts. And it's in one of these locations that we can witness a specifically humorous scene. At Lost Valley Redoubt, southeast of Markarth, as you make your way up the hill, if you're quiet, you can sneak up on a Forsworn soldier, who seems to be grinding a Nord's head on a wheel. As you approach him, he'll say the following unique line of dialogue.
The Nord skull makes the best axe blade. About all they're good for.
It would appear the Forsworn, or at very least this individual in particular, are manufacturing weapons out of people bones. Now, Forsworn axes and swords at least appear to be made out of stone and not skulls in the game. So perhaps this one guy's just pretty crazy. Regardless, luckily you're given an opportunity to put an end to such a practice. Or become a part of it, if you're not careful in combat. Coming in at number 4, Gallows Rock is a large fortress that's currently being occupied by the Silver Hand, a faction that must be breaking some pretty big animal rights laws. These folks are the primary antagonists in the Companions questline, as they seek to wipe out werewolves from the face of Skyrim. Though, if you've yet to join the Companions, then they'll be replaced by just normal bandits, but that's no fun. Now, have you ever wondered how a location like Gallows Rock gets its name? Well, if you take a close look at a large rock near the center of the courtyard, you'll get your answer, as there you can see a small noose hanging from it. People were being hanged here. Not the nicest fellows those Silver Hand are. Halfway through at number 5, this one's rather quick, but it blew my mind. Did you know the Mage Light spell can be used to trigger traps and runes that would normally only go off if a character walked over them? This is a nice little way to clear an area of mines or a tripwire without putting yourself in harm's way. Or of course you could just walk over them, because frankly traps don't do that much damage anyway. But hey, now you got this at your disposal too. Sixth, while we're still talking about Mage Lights, apparently they stick to people, and NPCs too. This is a nice little way to highlight a specific enemy, or light up a room if you've got a companion. Now, frankly, I don't think I'll ever use this, but The more you know! Next, one of the totally non-realistic, yet still hilarious things the Dragonborn can do when you're bored, is walk over many of the game's intricately set furniture pieces and tables, while NPCs proceed to just watch and do nothing. There's not much more hilarious than completely running all over the meticulously set dining tables of Dragon's Reach while you stomp all over them, causing plates, cups, and bowls to fly over the place, while the Jarl and his entire court remain completely silent, acting like you've done nothing. Meanwhile, I'm over here screaming at people for walking into my apartment without taking their shoes off. But, well, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, there's a small chance that if you're caught running all over someone's dining table, they may actually speak up, as children can say the following line of dialogue if they catch you. It's not much, but take a listen. It's funny.
I'm not allowed to stand on furniture.
And number 8, Vollenrund is a large ancient Nordic ruin that can be found north of Silent Moon's camp in the Pale. As is typical of these places, it's mostly just inhabited by a bunch of angry Draugr, and a few ghosts. It's the setting of the quest Silence Tongues, as well as where you meet Amon Motier in the Dark Brotherhood questline. However, when developing this location, Bethesda seems to have had some real fun, as towards the front of the Elder's Cairn, a sub-location in the ruin, you'll find a burnt corpse in front of a fire. Clearly someone was playing with fire and, well, got burned. However, what adds a little bit more humor to this whole scene, and perhaps mystery, is that this corpse is in fact clutching a scroll of Ice Storm, which implies this poor man likely attempted to put out the flames. Whether or not he made this attempt before or after he was on fire isn't that obvious. Regardless, it's clear his attempts were to no avail. Getting close to the end here at number 9, the ancient dwarven city of Blackreach is something viewers of this series are definitely very familiar with, as I literally can't stop talking about it every episode. But nonetheless, like all its fellow dwarven ruins, it's now mainly populated by the Falmer and a handful of their human servants. However, if you manage to stay hidden well within the city's center, you may be able to notice a rather interesting sight. A single Falmer stands before what looks to be a throne high above the ruins, flanked on either side by 2 servants. This Falmer is looking a lot like a king. Now, most players won't be able to catch this unless you're specifically looking for it, as typically the Falmer will turn hostile before you get a chance to really process what's going on here. Now, whether or not this Falmer is a simple parody of a royal leader, or a sign of perhaps a more sophisticated Falmer societal structure, is unknown. But hey, like I keep saying, it's funny! And finally, last on our list, during your first meeting with the Greybeards in High Hrothgar, you learn that all of them, with the exception of one, completely refuse to speak at all, as their voices are simply too powerful and dangerous. Well, funnily enough, if you walk up to a Greybeard and press the interact button, there's a slight chance you might be able to get them to speak. They'll simply whisper the word Dovahkiin in acknowledgement. But even this whisper will cause the ground to shake relentlessly.
Dovahkiin.
It's a really good thing they don't talk as loud as I do. Anyway, with that, we are going to wrap up. Yet another 10 tiny details you may still have missed in The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Part 28. You know what I'm about to say. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, like ratings are, as always, very much appreciated. Which of the facts on this list surprised you the most? What tiny little Easter eggs, references, and allusions do you know of that I haven't covered yet? Leave a comment down below. They're always very much appreciated too. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Peace out, everybody.